And we are live. How y'all doing? Wait for that thing. It says we're live. Okay. Yeah, now we're live. Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Today, we're going to talk about the gamma male. We're going to revisit it. I know I did a video a while back about this topic, and there was just so much stuff that I missed and so much stuff that I wanted to add. I'm obviously not going to take anything away from it. I'm just going to add to the concept. And Apoc and I here, I called him on the phone, and he brought up something that I thought was really interesting that I hadn't thought of. So I wanted to basically recap and continue that conversation. Now, I know the thumbnail is pretty interesting, but it's not really about the drama, although we will be talking about those guys, and not necessarily those guys, but some of the stuff that they've done that have been an indicator of gamma behavior. So before we start, how familiar are you, rather, Apoc, with the concept of the gamma male, aside from what we talked about?
I wasn't very familiar until we talked about it. Like, okay. I didn't really. I mean, I had some idea, but when you described it to me, I understood what you meant.
Like, you have some serious echo, man. I'm not sure what's going on with your microphone.
Some echo?
Yep.
Hold on. Why? Let me try and dump you join, okay?
Oh, okay. Technical difficulties. Oh, fuck. Sorry about that, guys. Also, one thing, we are going to open the panel at the end. The usual, though, if I don't know who you are, you're not coming on, because we've already had some trolls try to jump in here. Yeah, that's possible. I'm not sure if he's using his phone or not. Real name's not given. Oh, there he is. All right, welcome back.
Testing you.
Nope. It's double. It's almost like you have two mics on or something, two inputs.
Huh. I do not, but all right, I apologize. Let me check my setting.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. He's never had this problem since he's been on. If he is using voiceover, he should check input. Yeah, he's checking that right now. Yeah, I kind of got him in here spur of the minute, so we didn't have time to make sure the audio was working good. So that's kind of a miscommunication on my part, though. I'll take the hit on that one. But as I was saying, we will open the panel up for you guys later if anyone has questions. But this time around, let's try to stay on topic. We kind of went a little wild on my last stream, and even though I love to talk about guns, that wasn't what we were there for. And there were some other things that happened, and I'm not getting in the middle of that fight, if you guys understand what I'm talking about. That is not my fight, and I'm not getting into it. Okay, he muted himself.
All right,
there you go.
Still or no? 1, 2, 3.
That's better. I'm not sure what you did. It's better, but there's still kind of almost something wrong with it.
Okay.
Safe.
I apologize. Let me try a different tack. Is that okay?
Oh, there you were.
Give me 1 second, okay? I apologize.
It's still kind of. Okay.
Yep. No, it's okay. I can probably I can get rid of it. Just give me a second, okay? I'll do something else. I'll back in a flash.
All right. And he's gone again. Oh boy, this is not how you want a stream to start out, boys. But we'll get there. I think it's going to be really interesting when we finally get started. Okay. Yeah, this is fucked. But I'll almost have to like cut this section out like after the stream is done and like re-upload it so that we can just have like I may actually end up doing that later, like tomorrow or something, so that people who watch it in the post can avoid all this dead air and stuff. Okay.
Okay, how about now?
Now I hear you, Lima Charlie, my man.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just had to do a little. I had to do a little surgery.
Okay. Well, it's better. It's better. All right.
Good.
So you're not familiar at all with the concept of the gamma male. So let's get down to basics. I somewhat covered this in my original gamma male video, but I'm going to share this with you. I'll share the screen. Let me find it first. All right, and we're going over the Vox Day sociosexual hierarchy. You may have heard of that before.
Yes,
but we're basically completely focusing on the gamma male. So, all right, so we'll share that with you, and we'll read it together. And remember what I said on the phone, like they're going to use Grima Wormtongue a lot as a reference for like your classic gamma male.
Okay.
And because he really is, he really covers that. Gammas live a life of dishonesty for both themselves and others. They construct a powerful delusion bubble and think of themselves as secret kings. Now, this is something I probably didn't cover very much in my original video, but I'm sure you can understand the parallel of someone being a king but secretly. It's an interesting premise, and so we'll just keep going. This is the basics, and then we'll look at the Vox Day version, which is what I really want to cover, but this is just the basics. So they believe themselves to be worthy of adulation and praise, especially from women, and alternate between pedestalization of women and outright hatred of them. I'm just going to paraphrase this instead. Gamma rage and reality denying are very real and a scary phenomenon. Definitely observed a lot of this, which we will get to here in a bit.
Sure.
This is one thing I disagree with, actually. All right, so Vox and some others believe that the gamma is a highly intelligent person. Now, in my, from what I have seen of many gammas, especially in the manosphere, they're not dumb, but I would rate them as maybe slightly above a midwit. Do you have any objections to that statement, or?
I honestly don't think intelligence. I mean, my opinion would be that I'm not sure that intelligence would be correlated at all, really. But
how so?
Except that the more intelligent you are, the more open personality tends to be. And people with open personalities, if they suffer an excessive amount of abuse as a kid or young adult, can develop into this kind of profile. So it may be more likely that an intelligent man will be like this. So
you're
it might be true.
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
So I think I don't. I guess that's what I'm saying is I think it's too strong. I think that if I were to just speculate about it, I would say it's probably true that there are more above.
boy, the robots have taken you. Holy shit. Yeah, you. Danger, Will Robinson. Holy shit. Yeah, bro. Like, you're gonna have to disconnect and reconnect again or something. It's almost like he can't hear me. Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know. Yeah, super robotic, man. Like, holy fuck, they have taken him. Yeah, dude, I can't hear shit. I hear him trying to talk, but it's just gone.
How are we doing?
Okay, now you're good. I don't know what you did, but now
I think my headset's being stupid. So yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, you're not a robot anymore. Very good.
Okay, I'll just use the regular mic. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, you're kind of going in a direction that I was going to go a little bit later, but from what I've noticed about these gamma males, is all of them seem to have some sort of mental illness.
Yeah.
When I was doing a little bit of research for the stream, I listened to Vox Day talk about it, and that's something I kind of picked up on. And another thing he said is the gamma is the most interesting, and I would probably argue the most complex in his own sociosexual hierarchy, because the other ones are pretty straightforward, but the gamma is very complex.
Sure.
So now I kind of want to get into Krauser PUA's article about it. Now this is kind of old, but it's still very, very relevant. So again, this will touch on what you and I talked about on the phone a couple of days ago. So Krauser points out two very distinct traits, right? And feminized thinking, aka bitch brain. And one of the things I wanted to add to this was, I'm not sure if TFM is the originator of this this phrase, but that whole concept of how women think that words are magic spells seems to definitely apply to people who I would put in the gamma category.
Okay.
And as an example, there's a particular gamma that you and I both are acquainted with, and he exemplifies this because it's almost like he believes that when he says something that makes it true. It makes it true because he said it. So, for example, I called this guy a schizoid.
Right.
Right. I referred to him as a schizoid. Now, in a recent video, he uploaded a video talking about a YouTuber who called themselves a schizoid, which is completely devoid of reality. However, if someone was an observer, all right, I'll look at it from this angle. If someone was an observer and they watch my content, and then 2 days later, this guy uploads the video saying the very same thing, they're going to know that they're referencing me, but they're going to be confused, like, about what is this guy talking about. And I'm just using that as an example. We're not going to get into that loser all that much, but that's just an example. And then, of course, we're back to the secret king delusion, which, again, mental illness, delusion, I think they go hand in hand. Of course, there's my boy, Modern Life John. He wrote this when they are having a little bit of a conflict. So he was referring to John there. I don't think John is a gamma, just putting that out there.
That's the other reason I said there might be some correlation with intelligence, because intelligence over about 130 actually starts to correlate somewhat with depression and mental illness.
Yeah, I think that's possible, but no, just in my experience, they seem to be a little bit above average, but not like impressively intelligent.
Right, right.
Just from all the examples that I can think of. Like,
Well, but they do tend. I mean, some of them are very, as we've discussed, some of them can be very verbally gifted, very, extremely, extremely good with word salad, for example.
yeah, that's getting into the mental illness and the word salad and I've noticed a lot of them have narcissistic personality disorder. I obviously can't diagnose them with that. I'm not a doctor or anything, but just if you go through the bullet points of narcissistic personality disorder, that you pretty much are checking all the boxes when you observe these people's behavior.
Yeah.
Speaking of bullet points, I want to cover these bullet points because these are really interesting and another observation that I've made. Gammas will actively pick fights they can't win against higher ranking men. This is because the secret king can't accept that nobody appreciates his value but being feminized. They don't really understand how men handle conflict. Their risk assessment is faulty, like a belligerent woman screaming, "You can't hit me, I'm a girl," before she's decked on World Star Hip Hop. Yeah, I like Krauser, man. I like the way he writes. What do you think? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's universal or not. But I've certainly seen that for sure. And
well, this
gives you a moment's pause. It's like, did that really just happen? Like, does this individual not understand the crowbar that's in the back pocket that's going to come out soon? That kind of thing.
Yeah. No, this is categorical. So if they don't really like fit the bill all that much, they may be a different person, like fit in a different place in the hierarchy, I guess.
I suppose.
I think I mentioned the omega male. He's kind of like the gamma, but I think the difference is that he accepts his position, whereas the gamma male is angry about their position because they believe the world should see their greatness or whatnot because they are a secret king. So to continue, gammas can't back down from these fights because that means admitting defeat, which goes against the secret king belief. Also, everything is too personal, being feminized, so rather than slink away from a beating, they have to keep running their mouth and keep getting beaten up. Sounds like quite a few guys I know.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right. Well, yeah, you don't seem to have much input on this, but so let me.
No, I mean, because he's making declarative statements. So he's kind of painting a picture with a narrative, and so there's not really much in the way of some. I mean, I see the shadow of what he's talking about.
Okay. Well, let's get through the bullet points, and then we'll maybe see what else. The word you're looking for is neuroticism.
Okay.
Well, that's coming from the chat. I'm watching the chat too. So let me get through these bullet points.
Well, high in trait neuroticism. Yeah, that's probably true. High in trait neuroticism. That's probably true.
So gammas will lie, spin, and employ sophistry to maintain the illusion of winning when obviously losing. The evidence does not actually support the winning, so it's avoided, but they don't realize how transparent their defeat is. Gammas use the feminized debating tactic, of tackle the man, not the ball. They will directly insult in order to create bad feels because they project their own fear of bad feels and assume their opponent is similarly wounded by it. Very interesting. And like you said, I don't know. This guy is just going off of observations. You might think that they're too strong of statements in what might be something that could be more broad. But do you have any comments, examples, anything to add to that?
Well, I think what he's trying to say is that gamma males will engage in what we euphemistically call the shit test that women usually do.
Yes, and because they're sort of delusional, they don't realize they're a man, and that turns out very bad, especially if they pick the wrong dude to try to throw that shit test at.
Correct.
That always turns out really badly for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't have anything more on that comment, but yeah, I can see that. I can see where he says that. I can see why he says that.
Okay. I'm trying to think. There were some certain bullet points I wanted to add to the gamma. Oh yeah. Another observation is that they seem to be control freaks.
Sure.
Just in my observation, most of them. Not all of them, actually. I don't want to be too. There is some gray. To that. How about that? But most of them I've seen are control freaks, and they expect absolute loyalty when they exhibit none.
Yes. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Another interesting thing that I think is actually a gamma trait is they want to control all the females in their sphere, even if those females are not like interested in them sexually. That doesn't matter. They want to control all the females that are willing to give them the time of day. And there are a couple of guys that fit that category. I'm not just talking about one. I just don't want people to think I'm just talking about one person here. There are quite a few people that I've encountered that have fit this this description.
Yep. So have I.
All right.
More than one.
More than one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that sort of thing where who was it? Was it Barbarossa? I'm trying to remember who said that. Most men who say they're either red pill or MGTOW are one blowjob away from being blue pill.
Yeah.
Was that Barbarossa? I don't know. It was one of those guys. And it's that sort of I hate women kind of thing until they get sexual access, and then they love women, and then they get rejected, and then they hate. It's a bizarre kind of a bizarre kind of polarity.
That's exactly what it is. It's that guy that hates all women until they finally manage to convince one to touch their pee-pee, and then all of a sudden they're just like, women are great, and they basically turn into suddenly male feminists.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, essentially, what we're really, I mean, if you can boil this down to a lot of things, like I want to talk more about Jung's notion of anima possession, which I think is exactly what we're talking about.
That's where I wanted to go, but I want to cover one more thing before we get there.
Okay.
I'm interested in the in that, but I wanted to talk about one more thing. They'll use terms that they don't know the meaning of. All right, so one particular gamma used the word astroturf. Well, he also likes to use weaponized autism, just you name all kinds of terms he likes to use incorrectly. But astroturf, that's why I have astroturf here on the screen, because the actual use of astroturf is as seen here. So astroturf is creating the impression of public support by paying people in the public to pretend to be supportive. So like say,
right, it's
BLM, Antifa, all that
stuff. Yeah, it's called astroturf because it's not grassroots.
Yes.
It's fake grassroots, which is why it's called astroturf. Yeah. Right.
So I just wanted to put that out there and add that, because that's another thing that another one of their tendencies. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I want you to talk about the anima. What is it? Anima possessed, and the other one. two
There's
different
anima and animus. So
animus.
men can get, well, it gets complicated because it's turtles all the way down. So there's anima possession, that's men being possessed by their feminine side. So, okay, so to set the, I mean, if you guys really want to understand this, you want to read Carl Jung. Make sure you strap in, and get ready, because if you really read it, you'll get your mind blown. But basically, we all have masculine and feminine in us. Men have more masculine than feminine and are primarily masculine. And women are the opposite. There's lots of variation. But generally speaking, that's true. So what can happen, anima, is the female side of a man. And it sort of functions as a voice. Like, if you can think of it as a sort of voice talking to you, telling you what to do. If a man gets anima possessed, it sounds a lot like what this gamma male stereotype is. So essentially, if you think about it, it's essentially the feminine, and the anima has both normal and shadow components, right? So if you become anima possessed, usually it's the anima shadow, which explains why these men tend to only exhibit the negative characteristics of femininity, if that makes sense. Or they mostly exhibit just the negative characteristics. Whereas a flaming gay dude exhibits a lot of positive feminine characteristics. And he may also be anima possessed, but it's on the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or he may just naturally be more feminine. We don't really know, but just to give you an example. So anima possession is one way of looking at this. It's a Jungian framework. And I find it interesting. So you guys can look that up to see more detail on the kind of behavior that evokes. But you'll see it's very similar to this notion of gamma male. Animus possession is when a woman is possessed by her masculine side. And well, you've probably seen it a lot, where a woman is acting like she thinks a man acts, but is failing. She actually thinks she's acting like a dude. Either she's being aggressive or whatever the behavior is, but actually she's not acting like an actual dude, because there's no measurement to her actions. She's just kind of throwing various things out there, aggression and false confidence and that kind of thing. And so in each case, it's kind of a caricature of the real thing. Anyway, that's when you explained to me what gamma males were, it immediately brought up this notion of anima possession, because I'd known about that for a long time, because I read Jung a long time ago. So I think that that's the real story, rather than I guess I'm hesitant to say this kind of man is necessarily in a position in the hierarchy per se. Maybe functionally, but it seems more like something off to the side rather than inside, if that makes sense. Like, in other words, would you say a person who was depressed, because they were depressed, they were somewhere else in the hierarchy specifically?
Well, from my
I'm trying to dig into that idea. Like,
sure. From my understanding, though, you can switch your places in the hierarchy depending on the circumstances, or whether you work hard and move yourself up. Maybe I should just briefly explain Vox-Day's hierarchy in the quickest way possible. But I also wanted to, before I do that, there was one more thing I forgot, and that was projection. That's something you will see a lot from a gamma male. Sure. Well, but that's a negative feminine trait, though. Sure.
Women
Yes.
do that all the time.
Similar to solipsism, yes.
Right, correct, yeah.
But yeah, they do that a lot. So it's just like these guys that one guy got recently caught. He's been talking shit about a lot of people in the sphere who, just pretty much mind their own business and do their own thing. And he's been calling them homosexuals and rapists and all this stuff. And come to find out, well, they got caught. There's all kinds of evidence that person has done all the same things. And apparently there's a video of this particular person who's in bed with trannies. Okay. I mean, it's 2021 and it's whatever, but the point was that this guy had spent all this time calling all these other people homosexuals.
Yeah, he was using just like how Taggart got busted, Reverend Taggart, who did the same thing in his church, and then he got busted for doing the same thing, for being that way too. So
yeah, it is really, really bad. Like, I can't believe this guy had the gall to do what he did, to literally slander people. Just
no, they don't. That's the thing, is they don't care.
Well, true.
Yeah, they don't have. It's very amoral. Like, when
they think that their words are magic spells, and they also believe that they will never get caught.
Right.
I think it's less that they care when they get caught. I think they do when they get caught, but they just don't think they ever will, because they're so clever and their words are magic spells. No one will ever get them. So, for an example, like this guy was trying to paint a picture that he was the best pickup artist. I don't know, people rarely use that actual term anymore, but he's an old school supposed pickup artist from like the Mystery and Real Social Dynamics days.
Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah. Right? Yeah. And so he's talking all this cash money shit. And there's a voice recording of basically one of his students who he had charged an exorbitant amount of money, who's doing the coaching to him. He's getting coached. This kid's probably paying him, but the kid is the one coaching the guy.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yes. So you can see why these jokers are a lot of trouble, and why they get such a bad rap, and deservedly so.
One other thing I found interesting is that it seems like the view they have of the world is so locked in that they think that other people function the same way as they do. So, in other words, if you're a truthful, honest, straightforward person and you reap rewards because of that, they assume that you're doing the same thing they are, which is manipulating your environment to get what you want for some other purpose. Like, they'll assume that, the things you're saying you're saying them for the same reasons they do. They don't even consider the fact that you could just be being honest.
Yep. Exactly.
And another thing I noticed is that they tend to think that honest people are weak.
That is true. That is very true. And they are making a huge error in that. There's no
I'd say a slight error there, yeah.
Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. That is an old saying I learned from the drill sergeant.
Yeah, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between compassion and nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I kind of throw what you just said there though into the projection category. So they think, you must be like me, and everybody must be like me. And no, not everybody's like you, bro.
No. Yeah. No, some people just try to deal with the world as it is.
No illusion bubble here. I think that's if you live in an illusion bubble, whether it's for good reason or bad reason or just your self-protection reason, you're setting yourself up for failure. You in order to make good change, because you can move up or down in the hierarchy, you have to live in reality.
Yeah.
And so on that note, I'm going to briefly kind of explain this hierarchy, because there are several hierarchies. The one you're probably most accustomed to is the alpha beta paradigm, as I would call it. But some people add in alpha, beta, omega. But this has all those ranks. The Vox Dei has all of those plus more. So at the top, obviously, is the alpha, as expected. And he's everything that we have always talked about. He's the guy people want to be. He's dominant, so on and so forth. Dominant, successful, especially socially. He usually is the guy that dominates the conversation if he's in a room. He gets the most attention. And so think of him like, in military terms, I guess if you're looking at a company size element in the Army, he would be the company commander. He would be the captain. And the beta in this hierarchy would be the kind of second in command. Like, he's higher ranking. He's not like as dominant as the alpha, but he's higher up and gets, they also qualify like the quality of the women that these guys can get. And that's kind of how Vox Dei did it. So alpha gets the top tier women.
Well,
Beta gets, not quite top tier, but close to it.
do you mind if I drop in a disagreement?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't agree with that characterization, because alphas will submit to alphas if they're worthy, because they want to get shit done. I mean, you can only have one top dog in any pyramid, one or a very few. But men who are aspiring up to that level, or who are, or whatever, like you. Let me put it this way: I wouldn't call a command master sergeant a beta.
Sure. No, that's not where I was going with it.
I know, but I just think that, there's definitely an alpha will submit to an alpha if that alpha makes sense. If that alpha, in other words, you could have two alphas, right? Two guys who are confident, and each one has different fields of expertise.
Sure.
One guy is really good at one thing, and the other guy is good at the other thing. In Arena 1, Guy B will submit to Guy A. In Arena 2, Guy A will submit to Guy B, and there won't be any problems.
Right.
Like, because there's mutual respect. So I guess I have trouble. I guess I like the word. I mean, we know what the word dominant means, but I think it's more like, yes, dominance, but it's not just dominance. It's also competence and the ability to respect and be respected. And to not be a dick, in other words, not to be like, you're going to do what I say or else, as opposed to being, negotiating something while retaining control. So I think it's a little fuzzier.
Sure. Yeah. You can look at it with a shade of gray. Sure. Because, in some contexts, if you have a skill that I don't, I'm more than willing to learn from you.
Right.
I will defer to your skill set and your knowledge set. But, under other contexts, like someone, treats me in a certain way, they're probably going to get their mouth split open.
Sure.
So,
yeah, and that's why I say respect. Like, it's understanding that, in some sense, if you treat the men around you with a level of respect, as long as they're not broken, you can actually invoke whatever alpha energy they have in them to do their job better.
But this is, though, as mentioned before, you can move very quickly in the hierarchy depending on the context.
Sure. Right.
So you might be the alpha, and then, like you said, but you have to defer to someone who has a skill set that you don't in a certain situation. Though, thus you would move down to beta in this hierarchy. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, the thing that the important thing is that we're mixing metaphors. So when we talk about the hierarchy, we're talking about male nature,
Sure.
versus a man's position in any particular hierarchy is different. So if a man is naturally more confident, then he's more alpha, and he could function as an alpha or a beta in any hierarchy based on conditions.
That being said, this is more, it's called a sociosexual hierarchy. So it's more focused on breeding.
Okay, so so he's talking about the particular hierarchy of mating.
Yeah, it's more focused on, they talk about other qualities of these type of guys, but it's more focused on the quality of mates that they can get and the general traits that they have. Hey, what's going on, Bull Rush? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you, brother. So that's more the focus. That's why it's called Vox Day's sociosexual hierarchy. So the alpha male is going to get the top tier women and so forth, and they also happen to have these other traits as descriptors. So yeah, but
we're talking about one complete. We're only talking about
Yeah,
got it. Okay. So we're only talking about sociosexual hierarchy. Okay.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, go.
All right. So getting back to the betas, like, the second best, he's not getting the top tier women, but he's getting high quality women according to this hierarchy. And he's got a somewhat similar traits to the alpha. He's just not as dominant socially as what would be an alpha guy. Now, remember, they also throw in sigma, but I don't want to cover that too much because there's sort of a lot of hoo-ha about the sigma male. People were like, it does not exist, so I don't want to. Well, maybe we can debate that. Maybe we can talk about that, but we'll cover the other stuff first. All right, let me get back here. Where was I? Well, I believe the next one is the delta. So the delta is like the average guy, average dude, who can get, of course, more average women, maybe women that are slightly below average, so on and so forth. Not much to say about delta other than they're average, man. And they say most guys are deltas. Like, these are the guys that kind of make the world run. What it's saying. And of course, we covered the gamma because that's what we're mainly talking about. So now we get to the omega, and I briefly referenced the omega in this hierarchy. As the guy that's kind of like, think of like a guy that's like short and ugly and has no money, but he's not. He just accepts it. He's not mad about it. He's just like, it is what it is. That's kind of what an omega would be. And maybe you could see him almost as a quitter, like, because he doesn't want to try to better himself. But I would say most black pillars are not actually omega. I would put them more in the gamma category.
Because they're angry about it.
Yes, I think that's the key difference.
Yeah,
Bull Rush. We're just talking about someone else's concept, like.
Well, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see what he's saying about omega males, but I think that. Yeah, I mean, I can see why he's separating them out because he's trying to separate them out from his idea of gamma males.
Yeah.
But gamma male is a very specific phenomenon that, like I said, I think is anima possessed, and an omega male is basically just he's a guy who just wants to be left alone, does his own thing, goes to work, comes home, chills, maybe has a couple of buddies that he associates with and goes camping with or whatever from time to time, and that's about it.
What the implication here is that it's just that guy that just did not win the genetic lottery, and he accepts it, and he just lives his life. He's not trying to be angry about it and stir up shit and do all the crazy stuff that the gamma male does.
Sure.
And
Well, I mean, that would mean that, you know, someone like that could actually do well in any other hierarchy besides the sociosexual one. Like they could be good, very good at a bunch of things. So they may not necessarily have no money, but they just have just been like, nah, I'm out. I'm not getting what I want, and I probably never will, so I'm out. That's actually quite a few of the old school MGTOW guys that drifted through. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So now we're going to come to the most contentious one, and a lot of people
Sigma?
notice Sigma, and a lot of people like to consider themselves this. Like a lot of people crown themselves Sigma male.
Yeah, the lone wolf.
Yes, the lone wolf, the guy that's basically an alpha, but he just doesn't participate in the social
well, then you're not
hierarchy.
An alpha. Well, then you're not an alpha unless you participate in the social hierarchy.
Yeah, that's kind of. But this is what they're saying the Sigma is. I'll actually read the definition for you. Sigmas share some qualities with the alpha, such as self-confidence, but they tend to be way more introverted and do not thrive on social attention.
Okay.
That's the basic descriptor. So they're like the alpha, but they just don't participate.
I can understand that as a category, but I don't think these are necessarily static traits either. Like if a guy is, you know, in the alpha spot, roughly speaking, and he gets burnt by someone that he actually cares about, he might dip out for a while to get his head straight before he jumps back in the game. And at that point, wouldn't he be like this?
Sure. Yeah. Well, again, you can move spots apparently.
Right. So that's why I think it's probably a real thing, but I would imagine that there are very, very few men that actually are right in this. I mean, I can actually think of a guy. I can think of one. I mean, a guy like this, but there's basically, I forget his name, but he was like a champion mountain alpine skier, and you know, basically lived a very full life, and then eventually he just decide after his kids were grown and everything was done, he just decided he was done, and he just wanted to live out his years, you know, on the top of a mountain in a cabin taking care of himself. And so he went away, and this guy was a super champion. Like this guy was I believe he was Swiss, and he was tall, and you know, when he was younger he was tall, attractive, he had very hot girlfriends and wives, as you can imagine. And then he let it all go after that was all done, and not when he was old, but I think in his 40s he just said fuck it, and he ended up in the Colorado Rockies and became a sort of famous local figure who would come down every so often to get supplies and go back up. That's all anyone ever saw of him. So I would say that guy you could think of as a Sigma male in that instance, right? Because he really does, he's out. He's completely out. But he did live a full life and he still is who he is. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't made up my mind, but I was just picking your brain. So you're in the camp. Let me make sure I get your position correct. You're in a camp that they do exist, but they're extremely, extremely rare.
Yeah. I would say they're rare because we're social creatures. And most men aren't interested in completely isolating away from the hierarchies for a long period of time. I mean, it's one thing to withdraw and be sort of semi-isolated, but to be completely isolated away from social interaction, that's kind of crazy making, unless you've Yeah, just you're like that guy, and you've really made that decision, and you just want to, I don't know, perhaps follow it. I mean, you could think of it as following, like maybe a Tibetan. They have these. I won't say the word, but there's a bunch of spiritual practitioners in some traditions which are essentially like that. They go off into the mountains or into the forests, and they just completely divorce themselves from society. So I would say that unless I'm misunderstanding the description, I think that it's rare. Yes, certainly in the West,
Yeah. Well, the thing is a lot of
but real.
there's a lot of guys who are familiar with this hierarchy who like to again put the crown on their own head and say, "Oh, I'm a Sigma male," and most people who are observing are like, "Nah, you're probably not."
I mean, in my view, you're not a Sigma. If you say you're a Sigma male, then you're not a Sigma male.
Okay.
I mean, because the idea is you're divorced from the social hierarchy, right?
Yes.
So why would you even care what anybody thought of you?
Right. Yeah, it's a really actually a really fucking good point.
Right. It doesn't make right.
Yeah, I know that because by description, you're not supposed to care about where you are in the hierarchy.
Right. You're a lone wolf. If you're a lone wolf, why are you telling people you're a lone wolf? Then you're not a lone wolf.
Exactly.
You're not really. I mean, it's one thing to be to pride yourself on self-sufficiency and self-reliance and all of that, but that's not being a lone wolf.
Yeah. Well, it's neither here nor there, but the picture they used, the character they used to signify the Sigma is Han Solo. So
no,
it's neither here nor there. But
no, because he had Chewie. No, he had Chewbacca. He had social connections. He had lots of social connections. He knew he had all sorts of connections into the smuggling network. He had social connections ranging all the way back to his original when he came up as a captain. I mean, he was tied into a big social network. So I don't see how Han Solo was like that.
Yeah. Whoever put that together, Steve Jabba guy, probably should. No. He probably just didn't know any better. Like he's
a renegade.
Extended like Star Wars, extended universe, Star Wars lore and shit. I know you're Lord of the Rings, like you're very knowledgeable in that. So
right,
that's why I originally referenced
Grima Wormtongue.
But there are probably others in the Middle Earth that would fit that description. Borderline Gollum. I think he's in a category of his own, actually.
Yeah, no. I'd say Radagast might have been considered that way if you wanted to. I mean, he wasn't a human being, but still. He divorced himself from everything.
Well, I should clarify what I actually meant when I said Gollum. Gollum would be more like a Gamma, but I think he's in a category all his own.
I think so too. Especially since he's kind of a mix between the Sigma and the Gamma in some sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think Sigma male exists. I just think the author is an idiot and doesn't. He thinks Han Solo is a Sigma. He's Han Solo is an alpha renegade. He's not detached from society. How the hell else does he get contracts to smuggle things? What, by magic? I mean, and he's always flying with Chewbacca. Like Chewbacca's his bud.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, one thing I also missed, I think I was talking to you about that on the phone, was like in a lot of stories, and Vox Day points this out, I think, in one of his videos about it, but the Gamma actually is the cause of a lot of the story itself because they cause the problem, or they at least cause significant events in the story. they may not necessarily be the main antagonist, but somehow, like I referenced the whole, like in a zombie film, you always got that one guy who's an asshole, who, because he's mad at the so-called alpha, he lets the zombies in or whatever to try to get rid of them, and
Right.
that creates like a lot more problems than he, counted on.
Yeah. 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 This, I mean, it's always difficult to collapse things into such a simple hierarchy. Broccoli, I'd say Broccoli made a comment. I don't know if I think more you're talking about a unrealized alpha than you are a sigma, because from the description as a lone wolf who doesn't want to be a part of any social hierarchy, psychosocial hierarchy, doesn't want to place within it at all. It sounds to me like sigma is more like a hermit, like a real one. I mean, that's at least from the description I read, and you can definitely identify the hermit as a real person. Like there aren't a lot of them, but they're out there.
But in this, again, this is a sociosexual hierarchy.
Right.
So in this particular hierarchy, they're talking about the sigma male. He's still picking up women. Like women are after him. He's just not like, he just does his own thing and somehow still girls.
So that would be true if the sigma was like still going in and out of town and doing things, but and was like attractive.
Yeah. That's kind of where they're going with it. Is that
Okay.
like the alpha is like that guy that needs to be at the top of the hierarchy. He needs to be like the center of attention. That's that's what makes this hierarchy a little bit different than the usual alpha, beta, or alpha, beta, omega.
Yeah, I guess I'm just, I guess it's sounding more and more like it's a little bit too, like I said, it's almost a caricature of what really goes on.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see a guy who's attractive, but has pieced out, and is still, going in and out of town and doing those things. So he's sort of a part of the hierarchy, but he's not.
Yeah.
I can also see why people are crapping on the guy who wrote it, because this is kind of this would be the fantasy of men who aren't confident and self-assured would want to believe that they were.
That's it, dude. That's like verbatim, man. Like what a lot of people say about sigma. And it's just a fantasy rank that people basically give themselves. And they even said that about Vox Day himself, to be full disclosure.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I can see it as real, but pretty damn rare. Like a guy has to actually be in the mind of being a hermit or a super monk.
Right.
Right. And I've met those, however briefly, or I've observed them around. So yes, I think they're real, but I don't think they're what. Like I said, if you are bragging or saying that you're that, then you're not that.
Right.
That's what it comes down to, I think.
Gotcha.
And I personally don't. I don't know. I guess I just don't think of myself in this way. I guess I get the hierarchy.
You don't categorize yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm weird. I'm weird.
Well, yeah, but
so I have trouble, because I go through cycles, and everybody does. But even when I'm on, even when my headlights are full on, and I could control a room, I don't I don't need to be done. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want to quote unquote control the room. I'd much rather foster a good result regardless of what that meant, rather than, feeling as if I was in control. Like, because just for me, it's like holding a pile of sand in one of your hands. For me, wanting to be in control of a room is sort of like squeezing too hard and having the sand run out of your fingers. I think maybe, the guys who you respect and are up there, I think, and the guys who I respect and are up there, I respect them because they respect me. And they don't try and take away my choices. They use persuasion and their personality to move things. And instead of using orders or dominance language, instead they'll just be smooth and clear and obviously correct in the moment.
Right.
And that will move things the way they want them to move without having to use any kind of social force against someone to do so. And to me, that always ends up with a better result.
Sure.
So,
on that note, we have reached the 1 hour mark, so I'm going to open up the panel. If anybody has questions, please try to stay on topic. Okay? Please try to stay on fucking topic.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're a weirdo, you're not getting on.
Hey.
Other than
you mean the bad kind?
He's already here.
Yeah. One weirdo's enough for the room. Yeah.
All right. No, I had a bunch of guys during one stream where I put the StreamYard link in, and they were trying to get in here, and they're very strange individuals, and I didn't trust them. I know that Absolute Knowledge there, he's had some guys try some things.
Like, are we talking like The Doors, When You're Strange, or are we talking Stranger Things strange?
I haven't seen Stranger Things, but I'm familiar with the Doors song. So
spooky.
No, they're flashers.
Oh, Jesus.
For instance. So
all right. Yep. Enough said.
Yep. So there it is. Join or don't join. Give them a few minutes.
Everybody's like, wait, I have to talk?
I'm not allowed to be weird, and I have to stay on topic. Well, fuck, I'm out. So I know Mac McTell Absolute Knowledge sounded like he was going to come on, but
well, we can talk a little bit more about.
Sure, we'll just keep the conversation going until I see someone pop up in the feed there.
Sure. I find this whole. I mean, I find it all very interesting because it does give a sort of constraint for conceptualizing what's really going on. It's obviously not precise.
Well, Brett the Bachelor was in here. He was talking about labels, and whether you like it or not, humans are going to label things. Hey, Kaiser Venom. I'm going to let Mac on here.
Okay. There
we go. Yeah, like it or not, that's just human nature. People label things for a reason.
I know. I'm just saying, I think the labels are a little, I don't know. I guess in my mind, I always am going out into the patterns that I see in the world, and I'm trying to understand causes and conditions. But I can understand why obviously you want to have a model that you can use that's useful. And sometimes that's just very simple, a simple model is better than none. So I get it.
So what's going on, Mac? You got any questions, comments?
Yo, good to be back on.
Hello, Mac.
See this whole gamut thing. Yeah, I think that Delta and gamma, they're kind of the more unpopular. They're kind of the less. I think gamma, and delta, are definitely more, less used, than like the other four, the other four archetypes.
Yeah, because
But
a lot of people don't use this hierarchy. Most people follow the alpha beta or the alpha beta omega archetype, but I always found the gamma male to be annoying because I know quite a few, and yet kind of interesting in a way because they're more complex in some ways. And so we got a really good question. I'm going to let you guys answer that. We'll start with Apoc, and then Mac, you can give your input on this question as well.
Well, like in anything, you have to first know you have a problem, right? I mean, they won't reform. They won't. Obviously they won't fix their shit unless they know there's something to fix. So, and this is the problem with something like anima possession, or like you were mentioning, they tend to be narcissistic. Narcissists almost never seek help because they think they're great just the way they are. So somebody like that who's anima possessed, I don't know, they'd have to go through some kind of significant trauma that I would think they'd have to go through a significant trauma that was in that was counter to how they thought things would work, and it would have to wake them up at least for a little bit to what was really going on, and then they would have to seek help. I mean, if you think about it, these guys are pretty far. I mean, generally they're pretty far down the rabbit hole, but once they get to this level, I mean, it's not the kind of thing that happens overnight. It's the kind of thing that happens, as I would guess, that as a result of plenty of lots and lots of abuse when they were kids. Probably as a result of not having any male role model that was strong in their lives, or perhaps an abusive mother, abusive sisters, and perhaps they were seriously bullied at school because they were different, that kind of thing. If you add all that up, that's essentially childhood trauma, and that can stick. So to deal with that, you have to do real therapy, and if their defense mechanism is I'm the secret king, that's going to be a hard nut to crack. So, but yeah, I mean, essentially psychotherapy, but they'd have to go out and seek it, right? And so I think that's the big problem.
What about you, Mac? You got anything to add to that?
so I looked it up, during the stream, and I'm still trying to find, the official definition, of what the gamma is.
I'll send. Well, you didn't watch this stream from the
No, I
beginning.
watched. You're talking about, some sensitive, deceiving, girly men.
Yeah,
Well, not precisely.
With kind of bitch brain, not necessarily that effeminate, but they're bitch brain in a lot of. Think of like some of the more negative traits of women: solipsism, just
projection,
running their mouth, projection, thinking their words are magic spells,
right?
That sort of thing.
Delusional.
And instead of like working hard to get what they want, they think they can manipulate people.
And some of them can.
Betas do that.
Well, some of them
do
can.
that, honestly.
Yeah, but this is a different hierarchy. That's what I'm trying to point out. In this hierarchy, the Vox Day sociosexual hierarchy, the beta is actually not a little bitch. She's more like a second tier to the alpha. Does that make sense? So you're looking at probably the alpha omega or alpha beta omega category. I will link you.
Thanks.
Okay. There's had quite a few links up, but give me just a second. Let's see if this is it.
I'll just say man up, and be.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
I mean, you ever hear the phrase, real recognizes real?
Yep.
So it sounds like he's a fake mother effer.
Well,
Yes, they are.
yeah. But I mean, we're talking. I mean, essentially, these guys are usually they usually have mental illness problems as well. I mean, that's why I said the only way I can think of they can actually get out of it is to have real psychotherapy. I don't think it's not a question of just waking up, because they're not asleep. Their personality's been shaped by bad environment.
Yeah, Bull Rush, man. Come on in. You're perfectly welcome. Sorry about that.
So they'd have to realize they even have a problem, right? And just telling them you have a problem isn't gonna, because they don't think they do, right?
Yep. Well, they're secret kings. The problem is not them. The problem is that society does not recognize their greatness.
Yeah.
And that's why they'll never seek help, which is why I tie it to basically narcissistic personality disorder. And the secret king thing is a delusion. So they live in like a weird reality. They live in a false reality.
The funny thing though is that,
Sure,
like, I've heard this, and I kind of sort of, I don't want to say bought into it, but it made sense. Like if there's if there's a guy, who's in a fight, if this guy's in a fight, he's better off being delusionally confident, than just, having a pessimistic, attitude, he's going to win, in certain cases.
well, sure, but I don't know how much time you have to think if you're in a fight. Like, I'm not really going to be thinking philosophy if a guy's trying to punch my face in.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
so,
I'm saying, if you're the underdog, if you're physically or skillfully less, than the other guy, you're it's been said, that you're better off, being confident, that you're going to win the fight, being confident you're going to win, instead of just being hopelessly, pessimistic.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
sure.
But it doesn't I mean, it depends on the circumstances, but that's not going to compensate for lack of skill, right? So,
it takes, sometimes, especially heavyweight, like a heavyweight fight, all it takes is one good punch.
Oh, you're talking about like a professional fight. I was sitting here thinking like some guy on the street wants to punch my face, and I'm not exactly going to be, thinking philosophically about, all of that. I'm going to be thinking about defending myself.
yeah.
Well, I don't have time to think about it.
Not exactly going to be boxing.
Yeah. There's Bull Rush. All right, I'm going to add Bull Rush to the show. Welcome, Bull Rush. Good to have you, man.
Thanks for letting me on.
Hey, no problem, man. Glad. Always good to have you. Got anything to add or?
Yeah, I just don't know. So Vox Day, he basically thought this up on his own, right? All these classifications.
Yeah, I think he observed people for a while and maybe just also in his life experience and just put this together. It's interesting. I don't know if I like buy into it wholeheartedly, but it is definitely interesting.
Yeah,
I agree with.
I don't
Sorry.
know. Yeah, I'm like you. I don't know if I totally buy into this. It's just very subjective. That, from my perspective, what I think about it, it's just you got certain characteristics, and not all guys have these characteristics. Some have some, and it's not static either. To kind of box them in like that, I don't know. It's kind of silly to me.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with him sort of promoting the betas a bit, because You know, I don't know, it always seemed a little bit harsh to dichotomize alphas as good and betas as bad, you know?
Well, it's not. I mean, it depends on how it depends on how you define it. First off,
Right, precisely.
and then second, but as far as I define it, it's just the difference between alpha and beta is just like beta's more comfort kind of behaviors, and alpha's more behaviors that are make women gets their panties in a bunch a little bit, you know.
Sure.
Moisten.
Yeah.
The alpha thrill, you know, versus you know, versus the beta comfort.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think the thing is though, it's like guys exhibit these behaviors from one point to another, depending on the situation. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's true. Yeah.
There's times whenever they're going to have alpha behaviors. There's going to be times I have them. Like there's times I exhibit beta behaviors and stuff, but you kind of have to sometimes, you know, because otherwise, if you had a guy that was alpha all the damn time, those guys usually end up in prison.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that is true.
You can't be a 24/7, 365 alpha because you'll end up in jail, you know?
Yeah.
What, this guy stepped on my shoes?
Yeah.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. He's getting knocked out.
So yeah, you can't always run around knocking people out. I mean, it's fun from time to time, but geez.
Plumber. I'd say that was me. King Arthur's Merlin. He was alpha. He was just like in a totally different hierarchy. He was top wizard. So, I mean, he got Morgan Le Fay. If we're talking about sociosexual hierarchy, I don't know if you can make that comparison because, you know, he's kind of a magical creature. So it's kind of almost outside the normal hierarchy, you know?
Yeah, I don't care about stuff like that because I'm just more I deal with this stuff in the real world.
Yeah, but no, it's a good point. Like there are guys who are basically wizards, right? I mean, they're super good at something, extremely good in their field, and very confident, driven, and so on.
Yeah, you look at doctors.
And they just don't. What was that?
Physicians, medical doctors, they're a really good example of that.
Sure, physicists, you know, people like, you know, anybody who's driven and they're in the top, like, you know, 5% of their field or whatever, we could say. Actually, even to be a physicist professionally, you're going to have to be driven as all hell.
Well, I mean, to be a doctor, you have to be. I mean, you have to have a lot of drive too, because you're talking about that's at least like 10 years of higher education, and that's if you don't specialize.
12. Yeah, including and then residency.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of times those guys, they just want to do their thing. They don't want to, like, they're almost passively participating in the sociosexual hierarchy. Does that make sense? They don't actually care.
Some do and some don't.
Some do and some don't. You know, I'm talking about the ones who don't. Like, I'm sure you've met them, right? And they tend to be engineers and scientists who are just so into what they're doing that, you know, any girlfriend they might have is sort of an appurtenance.
Yeah, well, they're so involved in what they're doing that, you know, it just kind of cuts off the outside world. Most men don't have that type of focus though. Not all the time like that.
No, that's true.
Those guys are very much. I would put those guys like they're outside the norm. You know.
Yeah.
They're like 3 standard deviations outside the norm. They're an outlier position. You know.
Yeah.
But there are guys like that. All right, so I have a question for the panel. I think we'll go counterclockwise this time rather than clockwise. So we'll start with Bull Rush. All right, so getting back to the gamma male guys, I don't know if you all have seen the thumbnail, but it's very, very representative of the some, but not all of the gamma males in the manosphere, if you will. How do you think we should deal with these people? Because personally, I put out a stream a while back called Peace in the Manosphere, and I think we got to flush the toilet. What do you all think? And we'll start with Bull Rush. And you don't have to be specific, but just if we...
What's a gamma male? Like, how y'all define that? Or how's Vox defining that?
All right. I will go into the private chat. I've already dropped a link from Krauser PUA. He kind of covers that.
Or just give me the highlights real fast. Because I think I know what you're talking about.
We'll get... Okay, sure. So the gamma male is basically a dude who has what you might call bitch brain, who exhibits sort of some of the more toxic feminine behaviors.
Yeah.
So, they run their mouth a lot. They're manipulative. They stir up shit. They manipulate, lie. They think their words are magic spells. They project.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd treat him like any other female and just fucking ignore him.
All right. That's an easy answer. What about you, Mac? You got anything?
About how I would react?
What do you think we should do? Because there's a bunch of gammas in the manosphere, I guess, at large that are causing chaos. I'm not going to... Don't have to name them, but some of them are pictured in the thumbnail of this this stream. But
I gotta go look at the thumbnail.
yeah, some of them are.
Are you well? Oh, who's the top right?
Oh, you don't know that guy. It's a guy. We'll just call him the Cut. I'll be doing
Eli?
I'll be doing a video about him later on. It'll be fun.
And who's the bottom right?
Oh, you don't know who that is. Oh, don't worry about it, man. He's a PUA. He's a PUA.
Oh, John Anthony.
Yeah, that I exposed over the past 3 days or so, like badly.
Yeah, the common thing is that they're trolls.
Yeah, but they're very I think what separates them from trolls is like a troll is not doing something to be serious, right? A troll is trying to get a rise out of you, trying to get a little fun. Maybe they are trying to make you angry, but more in a lighthearted way than like these guys. These guys are trying to financially and socially benefit from the what they're doing.
I think
that's what separates.
I think you're a troll.
Trolls.
I think that you're a troll. That you're trying to make money. I think you're a troll whether you're trying to make money or not. You're still, it's still, it's still trolling. Whether there's
in a way. I just see trolls as like harmless, as opposed to like these guys certain individuals who try to take people's YouTube down, try to hurt their reputation, dox, you name it.
Yeah, I kind of draw the line at doxing because that starts going over into the
yes, especially someone's wife and daughter.
Yeah,
shit like that. I have a real issue with that. So,
well, personally, that's why I always say any man should have at least 3 places where he could dump a body on the ready, like legit remote places that he can dispose of a body or something like that. Just in the off chance that something like that needs to be done.
I just noticed once again that we have an all veteran panel here too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because Mac is a veteran, Apoc, a Navy veteran. So we got an all veteran show here. But yeah, I thought of that when you talk about dumping a body. Sometimes, some people need killing. Someone's going to take me seriously when I say that.
Some people just need to be disappeared,
Yeah.
from time to time, and it happens. But really, though, I mean, other than that, I think you should just ignore stuff like that. Like hate always comes from the bottom. It doesn't come from the top. So these people are retards. And if you're dumb enough to believe them, there's nothing that you can do to talk those people out of it. Like I'm just along the lines of let them burn.
Well, I have awakened some people. You can't save them all, but I have definitely awakened some people to the truth, and they've come and said, "Hey, thank you. I did not know this, and you've convinced me." So
that's pretty awesome. I don't have the patience for it, to be honest.
Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, I don't have the time, and I barely have the patience for it.
Well, you're doing the Lord's work better than me.
I try. I want to help. I legitimately want to help people, and I just don't like it when the bad guys get away with it. It's kind of my thing. So
yeah. Well, you're throwing ropes, so that's not terrible. Can't fault you for it, man. That's a good thing.
I mean, there's plenty of people, trying to get clout, trying to gain clout, by trolling others.
Yeah, I don't want
everybody on your your thumbnail. Everybody's trying to get, ahead, just by trolling others on your thumbnail. That's the common thing that most of them have.
Yep. Yeah, I would say watch out. I would say, those are the kinds of guys who they think that life is a zero-sum game, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Which it isn't, but
I mean, I'm just a big believer in letting your work or your content stand on its own. If you have to tear somebody else down, even at a personal level, you need to probably look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, I don't want clout. I don't think I wouldn't be happy. To be honest, one of the reasons I'm changing careers is because I don't want to sit at the fucking computer for that long. And to be like a professional YouTuber, you have to spend a lot of fucking time behind a goddamn computer. I don't want to do that. And I don't think I'm quite entertaining enough to be a big channel anyways. So I'm one of those guys, if I have to earn something, right? I have to be deserving of it, or I don't feel like I just don't like artificial shit. So I would not want my audience to be artificial. And that's just that. I accept that I would never be a big YouTuber.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work for not very much, for not a lot of gain.
Be a lumberjack, bro.
huh.
Yeah, I don't know
There
about
you go.
Start cutting down trees.
And skip and jump.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to go to trade school. I don't think you have to, have an apprenticeship, to cut down trees. You might. It might be some, might be some skills. Might be some skill.
Yeah, it takes a hell of a toll on your body, though.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I'd rather use a chainsaw, than an axe.
Those chainsaws are heavy, man.
Yeah, you don't. You should watch some videos of professional lumberjacks doing their thing, and you'll see what he means.
Oh yeah, for real. Yeah. I don't know. I've seen some old guys in there still doing that.
Yeah,
that's largely a young man's game right there. But if you can do it, more power to you. Go ahead.
I have a chosen profession that I'm going to pursue. Right now, I am a paralegal, but I'm not going to be doing that forever.
Not bad.
That's why another reason why I take offense to one of the grifters and their grift. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I would. Oh man, I don't know. I'd get in the trades, do something in the trades, plumbing, carpentry, HVAC. Although I don't know where you live, but that can be a crappy job. Like if you live down south during the summer, getting up in those attics, they're like
You got
it's
the
like
crawl spaces.
120, 130 degrees up there. If you can do that, that's great. And you will be, if you're having to do that during the summer, you can charge a premium. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Man.
in the crawl spaces.
Yeah.
Like
So,
all the dirt, the dirt and bug. Like I'm not scared of bugs, but I don't want to fucking be laying in bugs. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to have like if you do a elevator mechanic, you got to frickin' be on under the first floor, all that dust, all the fucking spiders, and shit like that, under the elevator.
Yeah, I would just do something in the trades. Truck driver might work, although I don't think you want to sit around all the time. But you can make good money doing that, and there's always going to be a need for truck drivers until they find a way to do transportation with.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard to crack six figures. Like I'm like I could find a negative, with every job,
Sure.
But like I'm saying, like certain trades, you're gonna have to be in the dirt, and with all the bugs and shit, in crawl spaces.
I don't know. You can do diesel mechanic, marine mechanics, marine engine mechanics, airplane mechanics, auto techs, stuff like that. You don't have to get around in dirt. You get a little greasy, but you'll be all right. Those are still blue collar trade job positions that pay very well.
I'm trying to think of others.
Oh yeah, I already know what I want to do. I don't.
Well, there's electrician.
Yeah. Well, I would have said that, but I don't. Me and electrician don't get along well.
Mhm.
Don't have.
That's true.
But no, you can be an electrician. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's heavy equipment mechanic,
Yeah, heavy equipment mechanic. Yeah.
like doing tractors and backhoes and shit like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty good money. You got to be in bumfuck though, but it's pretty good money.
All that stuff needs to be fixed. All that stuff breaks down. It needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and the thing with trucks, it's hard to crack. It's hard to crack six figures. Unless maybe if you're an independent, owner operator,
Right.
maybe you can crack six figures. But then you got tons of bills.
Well,
You
yeah,
have to negotiate. You have to look for good deals.
No one says it's gonna be easy. That's why they call it work, and not fun.
Well,
I know a buddy of mine. I've known him since high school. He's a welder. He makes six figures as a welder. So,
Yeah, I was actually considering it, but you need to be like, you have to have like precise, perfection. Like if you make a mistake, welding, I don't know if you can get away with it. If they're like, do it over or, or
it depends on what
they
you're
tell
doing.
you.
I mean, he didn't come out of welding school making six figures. I mean, he's been doing it for like 20 years now, so he's pretty good at what he does.
you can't. Well, with welding though, to make good money, you have to want to move. You have to be cool with moving.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, get good jobs, or pipe fitting.
Yep, that's a consideration. So
Then in those jobs, you're working on oil rigs and not on oil rigs and in oil refineries. That's where a lot of big money is. If you really want to go crazy, you can be an underwater welder, but those guys, their life expectancy isn't too good, so you have to be really healthy.
yeah, that's yeah. My buddy, he's mostly worked oil refineries and pipe fitting companies down in this area. He hasn't had to move or anything like that so far, but he's made pretty good money down. But this is Southeast Texas, where I live. So
So he's all set.
yeah. He doesn't have to move. But yeah, that you're right though. It is a consideration that you have to take into account. I don't know. See, like I have my job. I work remote, so I'm at my house all the time, and which I like because then on my lunch breaks I can go to the indoor range and pop off a few rounds and come back, finish work.
Oh, that would be nice.
Oh, it's pretty fun. Yeah. Like if I'm stressed, like I don't get stressed out or anything, because if I start to feel like that, I'll just take a break and drive about 15 minutes to my indoor range and have a little range therapy, and I'll come back.
Range therapy.
Yeah, that's what I call it. Yeah, range
Yeah.
therapy. Because if you think about it, like if you're at a range and you're shooting, you really can't afford to think about anything else except exactly what you're doing. You have to be very in the moment.
Yeah.
In order to do that and to be, practice safety and stuff like that, you have to be very aware of what you're doing at that time. So you really can't be thinking about other crap.
Yeah.
So that's why I call it range therapy. And I usually I always forget about what I was worried about before whenever I'm done.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic, dude.
Yeah, if you're into it, some guys go to the boxing gym.
Yeah. We don't have one around here, but yeah, that's another good one. Get punched in the face a few times. That kind of realigns your priorities.
Kind of centers your focus a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I prefer just mag dumping something.
Yes.
Mag dump is the epitome of personal therapy.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Have you seen? Oh, you probably haven't seen that video. Check out one of my videos called the Real Trigger Machine.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Get to play with my Fostech Echo. Love that thing.
Yeah.
I need to get one for my AK.
What kind of AK? Like, what brand AK did you go with?
So Wasser 10.
Oh, Wasser 10. Okay.
Can't go wrong with one of those. I mean, people try to shit on them, but man, I don't know if you watch AK Operators Union, but his is well over 10,000 rounds. He hasn't had to do anything with it.
Because I've heard the Century Arms AKs are basically garbage.
Oh yeah, do not get the RAS, and then what did they replace it with? Anything that Century Arms makes in house.
Yeah,
do not get that shit. The Wasser, those ship from Romania.
Oh, okay.
They basically put a few American parts on them and sell them. So
nice.
But the American-made shit, do not buy that.
I don't understand that. Why can local gun manufacturers in this country not get the AK correct?
The only company that comes to mind that's American that makes decent AKs is probably Palmetto State, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Palmetto State Armory does pretty good. You got an old Wasser 10 there, Iron Man. That's how they used to have the cannoned gas blocks and sights and stuff like that all the time. Especially like back in the 80s, early 90s maybe.
Oh, Kicking the Bucket had a really good one right here. Machining. That's a really good job. Especially like CNC operator and stuff.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I got a brother-in-law that does that. He works nights, but he makes like $40 an hour or more. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to get it top tier unless you are like a shop foreman, but yeah. You can make good reliable money because those shops, if you find a good shop, they always have work.
Yep. That's what he's done. He's worked for that company for better on 10 years or more.
Yeah.
And he just came out of high school, went to a community college, and took their machining course over there. It was a couple years, I think. And he graduated and they had a job placement and stuff too to help you out.
There you go.
Good money.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have $250,000 in college debt.
Oh no.
When you factor that in, you realize that the higher salaries that people might get paid coming out of college are nothing. You know, spread that out over 10 years, and you're like, wait, I'm actually making more money.
And faster too.
Yeah.
You're making more money and faster.
And faster. Plus, you're developing a skill. You're developing a lot of soft skills too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's you know, if your mind works in a way that's good for trades, and you're not obsessed with getting rich, but making a decent living, and just having a good retirement, then why not? The trades are it.
I know a lot of guys have gotten rich off of trades.
Oh, you can get rich off of trades. I'm just saying, even if you only put in average effort, not normal effort, if you don't bust your ass to make a lot of money, if you just put in normal effort, and you don't get rich, you're still going to have a good retirement.
What I've seen most guys do when they get out of the trade school, they go and they get a job. They work a couple jobs for about 6 to 10 years. Then they go ahead and open up their own business.
That's my plan.
That's what you should do, honestly. Get a trade like plumbing or something like that. Go and, go to school.
Even air conditioning, what is the air conditioning?
Yeah.
Actually, well, they threw in, refrigeration.
Yeah.
Is that HVAC?
Yeah, it can be a part of it. I mean,
like refrigeration.
Yeah.
Like there was this there was this deli owner, and the refrigerator broke. He said the guy charged like $400 for like a half an hour worth of work.
Oh wow, that's kind of price gouging a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Where was he?
Where was who?
Where was the location of the work?
That was in Staten Island. I was in Staten Island, New York.
Okay, yeah, that's why.
Okay,
yeah.
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 If you're down here and charge $400 for half an hour doing anything, you'd get run out. I don't care what you're doing. Like $400.
Yeah, he might have inflated it. But his point was like he was on call. He just showed up.
I better get a happy ending, a reach around or something. $400. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, certain jobs like even landscaping, in construction, they can make big dough. From landscaping, you could charge like tens of thousands of dollars, for just to make your backyard, your front lawn, look nice.
Landscaping's rough though. It's hard to get.
It's a seasonal job.
Yeah, super seasonal. It's hard to get business. It's you can do it, but it's from what I've heard, I've talked to guys who used to landscape, and they're like, man, basically what you're doing is you're absolutely killing yourself for 3 months, and then you don't get any work for the rest of the year.
The other thing too is that like down here in Texas, man, you'd get lowballed by the Mexican crews and stuff out here.
Well, some owners, they just hire a bunch of illegal, $10 an hour, type of workers.
Yeah, sometimes. But we most of the ones that we see out here, they're like full on companies, or they're like little private, like father and son kind of crews.
Yeah,
and they do a good job, man. I mean,
yeah, one of my relatives, he did some kind of rubbish removal, and demolition type stuff.
Yeah,
and he hired some Mexicans. This Mexican guy, his finger was like hanging off. He kept working. Like they'll just keep working.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like my guys because like because if I need something like some trash removal or something, I can haggle with them. He'll come up here on an off day. I'll just be like, hey, I got some limbs that I cut down. I need you to remove them from my place. And he'll be like, how about 100? I'm like, how about 90?
Or depends how much stuff. If it's already if it's all bagged up, then that's that's
But I'll
reasonable.
haggle with him, and he'll do. I mean, he's never turned down a job. I'll put it that way. Like he's never turned down a job. I always get him to do something I don't want to do.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the point is, if you're in the trades, and you'll always have work.
Yeah, and
shit
the
always
thing is,
needs doing.
and the thing is, there's it's a skill set that you'll always have. You can't take that away from you.
That's right.
Like you can, in some stuff, I mean, you got to be licensed, which I disagree with a lot of licensing by states and stuff like that. Like,
electricians and plumbers, I think, and HVAC all need licenses, right?
Yeah,
For each state, right?
Yeah.
And but it's just like you don't have to do it. Like you just have to pass a test, so it's not like.
Actually, the thing is, it might be each city. Not even each state. I mean,
it's just it's a form of it's a form of gatekeeping that I don't agree
Sure.
with.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a permit to have a business. It's like, dude, that's ridiculous. Why do you need to pay the state anything to open up a business?
And if you want to go, if you want to travel, if you want to travel, 2 hours, that's you can't work, like I think it was counties. Somebody mentioned counties. I don't know if it's counties, or cities.
Well, if you want to really do something crazy, Dubai has plans to build a spaceport. So that means a hell of a lot of heavy fabrication, metal construction, welding, and pipe fitting is going to be going on.
Yeah, they're just going to get it all from China.
They may or may not. If you're it depends. Depends. I mean,
they're going to get it. They're going to purchase from the lowest bidder.
Yeah, I know that's usually the case, but if they're building a spaceport, they're going to be concerned about reliability, and Chinese companies aren't exactly known for that. Like, I mean, it would be very inconvenient if your entire launch pad blew up.
Maybe. And cap intensifies? Yeah, you're damn right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying there are opportunities outside the United States that if you're willing to spend, 5 or 6 years just on your own somewhere else, you can make good money as a tradesman in other places too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you're already if you're already an experienced tradesman, you want to make a bunch of money in a short period of time, you can find a remote place in another country that'll.
And that money is non-taxable. If you play your cards right.
Yeah,
it's non-taxable.
Yeah, go to Indonesia and you might be able to get paid in crypto.
Ooh.
Yeah, and supposedly, the bus drivers, in Afghanistan, they might have been making, I don't know how much they were making, but like those contract, the Afghan, the contractors, they get sent, to the war zones, they make some good dough. I don't know if the bus driver, if he made as much money, as other professions, but they probably took care of him.
I mean, if you got a little bit of a death wish, I guess that could be a good thing.
Well, he was on the base.
Or if you're like
on the base,
you're like one of those junkies that get high off of adrenaline, like adrenaline junkie. I don't think Infamous Rifle is like that though. He's too chill, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I try to be chill, dude. Like you understand? I think you deployed, right, Bull Rush? Like,
no, I spent all my time on Camp Pendleton because I was military police.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. But in my defense, though, I was kind of like one of the chill MPs because
right.
I wasn't one of those jerk offs that think they're awesome or like special forces or some shit like that.
Yeah, man, they can be pretty fucking ruthless, dude. Like the MPs. It's almost like they took pleasure in giving dudes tickets and other shit. But yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff here at home is not as important when you've had guys that were trying to shoot you and blow you up with IEDs and mortars and shit. So
Yeah.
it's not as big of a deal. I mean, I do get mad about shit, but not in the same way I guess that others do, because I have that understanding, and people mistake that for being like overly laid back, or some retard says weak-willed. Like, no, dude. Like, actually, you have no idea like how strong my willpower actually is. You wouldn't even believe it. But he's a gamma male, so he wouldn't understand these things.
There you go.
Well, I mean, that's why the saying goes, "Fuck around and find out."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He doesn't. That gamma male does not want to find out. He doesn't want to find out. It's just like that particular line in the Vox Day thing that I went over. It's really, he knows he's going to take the beating, but he can't back down because he's a secret king.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Secret king. That's what the gamma males are.
Yeah. Yeah. The secret king will not let him back down, even though he's about to take an ass whooping.
Well, sometimes you gotta oblige some people.
Well, he almost got obliged. That's the thing. He doesn't realize how close he was to getting obliged a couple of years ago. So,
What are we talking about?
Gamma males.
yeah, just one. We don't have to name his name because
Do you have 3 initials?
I've really held back because Apoc doesn't really want to talk about that shit that much. So,
Does he have 3 initials?
yes.
I mean, honestly, the more we talk about him, the more clout we're giving him.
Oh, he don't have no fucking clout. I just make fun of him because,
Like, people troll me, I don't even mention them. Unless they come onto my show.
remember what I said about trolls. There's a difference between someone who's a legitimate troll and someone who is just
Yeah,
creating chaos.
I'm a troll. I'm a Twitter troll.
Yeah,
I like
I troll sometimes, but I'm being playful.
My
I'm
troll
being
is funny though.
lighthearted. Yeah, the trolling should be funny. Sometimes you are trying to sort of get somebody mad. It's one of those things where you kind of almost like pull a prank and they get a little bit mad and you're like, okay, dude, chill. Like, I'm just kidding. Like, I wonder about my if you've seen my April Fool's video. I wonder if there wasn't some people that took that seriously.
There probably were.
Well, I know Plumber did.
There's spurs with everything, man. I mean,
I know, bless him, but I know Plumber did until I was like, look, dude, it's April 1st, man. Like, it's because I kind of figured that it's a little hyperbolic to be sitting there talking about this guy having the best game in the world because he's elbowing women in the mouth and like knocking them out and then punching them some more to revive them after he knocked them unconscious.
oh my God.
One would think that shouldn't be taken seriously.
Oh, I got to tell you a story, bro. I got to tell you a story, Rifle.
Sure, go ahead, man. We got a few more minutes. I'm gonna end this in about 7 minutes, but let's hear it.
Let's go.
I saw your boy. I saw John Anthony.
Yeah.
He made a video. He's talking about, oh well, this PUA, he doesn't get hot chicks. He's talking about, I think he was talking about MLD and maybe Myron, and probably a few others. And then he shows his chick, and it was so obvious. It was so obvious that she was just some skank. They paid a few $100s, to get on his video.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna send you a link that you need to watch, like when you get the free time. Oh, there's a lot more to that story than just what his girl looks like, because she's like literally beating him and shit.
Wow.
Like, he's super power blue pill, He wants that's why he's in the thumbnail. He's a true gamma, except for he doesn't fall into the sexual reject, even though he kind of does because he's generally paying these women.
Is he a power bottom? Is that what you're saying? He's a power bottom?
Well, he's one of the guys I heard
He's a masochist.
was in bed with a tranny, so I
when
don't
you
know.
mean beating him like in a BDSM like femdom kind of,
in a way that
or like a spousal abuse kind of thing.
more like a spousal abuse thing that
Oh,
Latinas are good for. So,
oof, boy, I don't know. I know.
they shouldn't stab him, I guess.
Woo. I was
But
gonna
that's-
say that was my next question because yeah, I dated Latinas for about 5 minutes and then I was like, no.
Yeah, that's
Oh, they're fine. It's
It
just
depends on where they're from. Depends on where they're from.
the thing about
Yes.
Latina girls is like you have to present or behave in a very machismo way, like you can't be like a soft ass. Like
No,
they will punish you for that shit.
Oh yeah, no, I'm aware of that. The problem is when they're when they're a little bit crazy.
They're all a little bit
which is
crazy.
the vast.
No, what I mean crazy, actual crazy,
Like
and it's hard to
crazy,
differentiate.
like stabby, because that's where
Like
I draw the line.
stabby crazy, yeah, like you glance at another woman and she punches you in the face. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, I'd choke slam that broad on the ground. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like I've dated some Latinos before in my history, and I've never had. And I've looked at other girls, and they've never said shit to me. So,
Well, I guess I just got lucky. That
oh, shut
was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, but there's some stabby ones out there. Those are ones you gotta look out for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, keep them at arm's length. And they're crazy. They're stabby crazy, but I mean,
Oh yeah.
they're fun. They're fun to play with sometimes too. You know, they're not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are hoes,
hey,
too.
look. Agreed. They are. I mean, that's why I got with the one I did. But she kind of went sideways at some point, and I won't tell the whole story, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
You probably did something like she smelled some weakness somewhere or something, man.
No, because at the time I was getting my second-degree black belt in 2 different martial arts, so there's like nothing like that going on at all. It was because I wasn't paying enough attention.
Object.
No, I wasn't paying enough attention, and her shit test went too far, and I was like, that's it, you know. And when I said that's it, she went absolutely ballistic, and some bad things happened, and I was like, no, we're done. That's it.
I would have iced that broad for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a new shiny object that just pops into the picture.
It's like, oh, you want attention? Oh,
No, in her case, she was just really.
we all living together?
No, thank God.
Oh,
yeah,
That's
you
good.
lucked out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes you get the stabby crazy ones, and you know, there's nothing we can really do about that.
Dude, she was like 20. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was weak.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, my little head thought too much for me, basically.
Woo. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll
Oh, yeah.
happen. Happens to the
So-
best of us. Don't feel bad.
Yeah. I mean, look, I was 25 at the time, so I'm cutting myself some
Oh
slack.
yeah. You damn kid. You didn't know no better.
Yep. No, I didn't know shit.
Yeah. So anyways, Mac, John Anthony Simp style. There's all kinds of dirt on him, dude. It's embarrassing. Like I felt embarrassed for him, but I didn't, wasn't intending to name the gammas. You should be able to decipher some of them, but not all that I wanted to mention or talk about in the video or in this stream. They were in the thumbnail. Mostly I wanted to, rather than try to like focus on the blood sports, I wanted to talk about their behaviors and point those out.
I just think the best way to go for most of those guys is just to not even give them any credence or anything like that. Just ignore them like a woman,
Sort of what I mean by flushing a toilet, but I think you just gotta, like John MLD did with John Anthony Simp style.
Yeah, I mean, I
Just
think
expose him, and now he's done.
if you're gonna do it, you either ignore them or if you're gonna address them or anything they have to say, stick their bodies on a pike for everyone else to see.
Like in the laws of power, man. Destroy
You know.
your enemy completely.
Yeah,
Crush your enemy totally.
Yeah.
because bodies on pikes actually prevent wars.
Yep.
Good old Vlad.
Crush your enemy totally. I gotta
Yep.
look.
Yeah.
I gotta look up. I don't know what
Yes.
number
I
that
think
was.
that's the 15th law, I believe.
Law of what?
Law 15, law of power.
Oh, okay.
Crush your enemy completely.
I gotta read that book, man.
It's a good book. He's kind of got an updated version of it.
Nice.
I think it's the laws of human nature or something. I forget.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're gonna address someone with like that, you just got to crush them. You just got to put it all out there.
That's basically
Let,
what I've
let
been
people
doing.
decide for themselves.
Yes. That's what I've been doing. And I've built a database basically as well. That's what this channel kind of is. Also,
You're like
it's
red
just a
pill
data-
black. You're like red pill Batman out here.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I like
very
that.
good at finding dirt, but I had some help with this one, although some of it is definitely fully my own. Like to find the video of him at the National Organization for Women, I went full Batman, like Autismo, to find that.
There you go. See, you got a little bit of autism in you. Every guy does. It's just how you use it, you know.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
This is the Tism commander apocrypha here. That's what he was given that rank in the monkey business server.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm on the spectrum, but I spent like 20 years. Well, I am on the spectrum, but I spent something like 20 years working on it to try to sound more functional.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I have a cousin he's severely autistic, and his parents have worked with him. They've had some really good people working with him. He's gotten a lot better, man. Like he went from almost like non-functional to like he's got some he can socially be he can socially be around people and stuff. You know, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't that severe, and to be fair, I didn't actually know I was. I mean, I'm over 50, so this was back in the day when they didn't diagnose it,
Right.
and so I was just weird, and according to everyone else, and essentially what I have is high-level Asperger's, which is what they used to call it, but nobody really identified it back then. So I kind of went a long time. I didn't know until I was in my late 30s. Didn't even know. I just thought, I was broken somehow. So that's, it was a relief to find out, I'll tell you. And then I got much better than I was. So
Nice. So did you is it like a cure thing, or is it just like you just figured out a way to refocus?
For me it was refocus. For me it was meditation, actually.
Okay.
I've been practicing meditation actively since I was in my mid-20s. Well, since I was a kid, really, but regularly since my mid-20s. And it really helps because one of the things that causes problems is overstimulation.
Yeah.
And so when you meditate, you learn how to deal with that. And so that really brought the volume down so that I could function better.
Yeah, I just don't like how people they say they're on the spectrum these days. It's like they use it as it's kind of like a barrier or a crutch.
I mean,
being socially awkward.
I don't like it either. I go and yeah. There's a lot of people who say that, and I can tell they're not.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a certain way of being that an autist carries that other autists recognize. And if you're neuroatypical, you can kind of see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If I wasn't filtering so heavily, I'd be stuttering all over the place, for example.
Right. That's but yeah, I'm just like, you're not on the spectrum. You're just socially awkward, and you're a dork.
Yeah, which is fine. But they want to claim some kind of special victim status, I think.
Yeah, I know. That's the shitty. That's the asshole part of it. I
Yep.
guess you could say.
Yep. Yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up, Rifle, because when I got that TISM commander rank, because there were a couple of actual autists in channel that were freaking out, and I talked to them, and within 5 minutes they were cool.
Yeah.
And so, because I know what's going on in their head.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that happened. You can tell. Anyway.
Well, you're not the type of autist I can take to the casino and make money off of, right? You're not that kind.
Theoretically, but I'm not going to do it.
Are you
Come on,
implying
buddy.
that you would want him to count cards for you?
Or anything, just anything to exploit you. I'm not
Look,
I'm not against it.
I left Vegas 3,000 up on craps. I'm going to stay that way.
Fair enough.
I can't gamble. I enjoy it too much. Does that because it's all numbers?
Yeah.
Right. I'm bad at math, so math.
Oh.
Except geometry, I'm good at that.
Huh.
But that's it.
Good spatial memory. So you must be good at the range.
I'm not. I'm not bad.
Not bad.
I'm not bad. Well, I also grew up doing construction work and stuff when I was a kid, so.
Oh, okay.
So it was more like geometry was highly applicable to me, and I picked it up real fast.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but other than that, like the algebra and all that other shit, nah. I've never used it anyway. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I if you don't have a good teacher, then math can be. I think that most men could learn mathematics, at least to the level of at least rudimentary calculus.
I did. I took my senior year. In high school. I took pre-cal and trig, and
Oh.
but it's just I've never used it since then.
Oh.
Like I've never needed to. I mean, I eat crayons and I shoot things.
Yeah, but you took pre-calc and trig in high school. Like, how did you do?
Oh, I got A's on both.
Oh, yeah, I'm not good at math. Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I remember when they started making like the whole equation, was all letters. And I was like,
Yes.
fuck this.
yeah, that's why I like
I was
geometry.
like, fuck this shit. All letters, like you don't even know, what, because at least with a number, you'll come to a final broken down, type solution.
You should try geometry. They got pictures and stuff. Sometimes you can color them in and everything. You don't have to. It's fun.
Look, there's a difference between being good at something and being interested. Like, it sounds to me like you could be good at math, but you're just not interested.
I'm just not interested.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like eating crayons and shit. So
No, I understand. Yeah.
that's what I burn to do. Infamous Rifle knows.
Mm.
We eat crayons and stuff.
Well,
Stay away from
I was
metallic.
not a Marine, though.
Oh, you weren't? Were you Army?
I was Army.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, no crayons for me. I like regular
Now
food.
you're suspect.
Oh, you were Leatherneck?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was a squid.
Good. Seaman? Yeah.
Yeah. All the jokes.
I know.
All the jokes just passed through my head. Yep.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Two guys that regularly stream with Apoc and Grizzly, both squids, man.
I did for MP training, I went to Fort Leonardwood, Fort Lawson in Missouri.
That's where they train all MPs, I think, regardless of branch.
Yeah, because you cross train with Navy, Army, all the guys, all the branches. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, man.
Coast Guard. You see Coast Guard over there and National Reserve or whatever. Not National Guard.
National Guard. No,
Coast Guard.
I don't know.
I don't think Coast Guard has an MP or an SP. Do they? I don't think so.
I don't
They
think
operate out of Navy bases. So
Yeah, they probably just use Navy Shore Patrol.
Yeah. But isn't the Coast Guard more like civilians? Well, I mean, they're not civilians, but
No,
Mm.
no. Come on, some of those helicopter guys are badass. Come on.
yeah. I'm not knocking the Coast Guard.
Yeah. Yeah, they get a bad rap.
I don't see why, man. They do good work.
They do. They're working hard.
Everybody's necessary. My only problem comes from like the weekend warriors who think they're the same as like active duty guys, and they're not.
Yeah, no, not really.
We used to call it part-time service, full-time pride.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So
And you gotta like,
They need to go and at least get some, do like 4 years of active service and then come out and be a weekend warrior. That's fine.
yeah, I went to MOS school, with at least one reservist. I was just thinking to myself, yeah, you ain't gonna be, doing the same shit that I'm doing. You ain't gonna be on my level.
dude, like they have their place and everything, but my problem is like when I was in basic, I trained with the reservists and the nasty girls, and they were like bragging about how after they were done, they were going to go home, and you're stuck here, and you're going to be, no, man, I signed the dotted line. I'm doing the full deal, dude. Like you're the one who's the weekend warrior here.
Yeah.
To brag about. And they were the same people that were on their bunk, like crying, staring at pictures of their girlfriends and shit. I was like,
You're getting plowed out. You're getting plowed out right now. Right now,
No.
bro.
Jody's taking it to the house, man.
Yeah,
Whether you
dude,
get a
I'm
letter or
even
not.
kidding. At night, everybody would go to their bunks, lights out and shit, and these dudes would have like pictures of girlfriends. They would literally like cry and shit. What the fuck?
Jeez.
I was 18. I was loving it. Like I get exercise, get to shoot M16s, get to have all kinds of fun. We lost Apoc.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I had fun when I was in there. Some of it sucked, but whatever. Got to embrace the suck.
Yep.
I mean, it's largely what you make of it, in my opinion. You can either gain something from the experience or not. It's up to you. Usually people that didn't have a good experience or didn't like it, if you ask them enough questions, they'll tell on themselves, and they're basically shit bags anyway. So
Yeah. So I got hurt, in basic story, or they always have a story.
Dude, I remember one guy. They actually made him a squad leader, initially, but he was on sick call. He was on light duty for like the whole fucking boot camp, bro. It was like I was just like, are you fucking like, how do you even run a PFT? Like, because he had to, I'm sure, because I think he graduated with us. I'm pretty sure he did graduate, with us, but he was on fucking light duty for like the whole fucking time, bro. And I was
how
just
does that happen? Because like, if I remember correctly, it's like 20 years ago almost. Like you're allowed to be on light duty for like a week or two of training, and you got put back, like you got recycled.
Yeah, I forget if he said he had shin splints or he twisted his whatever the fuck he did, or like
crap.
and I'm just, and like he was a squad leader for like maybe the first month or two, and even when he was on light duty, he was a fucking squad leader, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I can understand, like, even if you cop out, even if you go on light duty, like while you're in the fleet, all right, fine. Sometimes shit happens. Or if your job has nothing to do, with any type of physical, type stuff, and you're in the fleet, fine. But he's in fucking boot camp, trying to get his title, trying to get his fucking title, and he's on fucking light duty, for damn near, the whole fucking time.
That's really weird.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I mean, when I was I had fucking walking pneumonia, and they still made me take the final PT.
Good.
Yeah,
Builds character.
it did. I threw up like a bitch right after, but I passed.
Well, Infamous Rifle knows like any kind of treatment you get in basic training it's going to be worse when you get out in the fleet. So it's going to be harder. You know?
Yeah, I remember. Even in MOS school, they were making it. We're talking about you got to run 6 miles in boots and utes, and I'm like, I was ready for it. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but like to what you're saying, we never had to do like 6-mile runs, in boots and utes, in boot camp, but then like in MOS school, we started doing that. In the fleet, we continued, for like I remembered like we did sand runs. We did sand runs, for miles, in boots and utes, and I was or in full camis or worse.
You were they weren't running you in that hard wet sand. They were running you in that soft sand up there.
Oh yeah.
They're like we tried to veer off into the hard sand. They're like, no, you get y'all's ass back up there inside that soft sand.
You're talking about the soft sand, by the water line.
No, because like at the water line, the sand is soft, is hard packed, and it's better to run on. You get up in that soft sand beyond the water line, up further from the water line. It's soft sand, man. It's just like you run and it feels like you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's like you got 20 extra pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are way off topic, but it's fun. We've covered the topic. I think we've covered it efficiently. I'll be honest though, if you're watching in the post, like to be honest, I held back a lot because Apoc doesn't want to. He's not into slinging mud. He wants to talk about the data. If I did this as a solo show, I would be going ham on people. But
I appreciate that. Look, I just I'm kind of done with that particular.
I understand.
I didn't want that continuing to live rent free in my head.
Oh no, and it's not just that guy though. It's other people that are the problem.
Yeah.
There's other guys just like him doing very similar things, and in fact, some people are even worse. In some
that one guy, I forget his name. That one guy, he screwed a bunch of dudes out of a lot of money, didn't he?
With the John Anthony guy.
Yeah.
Loser. Yeah. I mean, he had guys. And since we're talking about that, he had guys pay like $3,000 for his boot camp.
Damn.
And then like he proceeded to like get drunk and wasted.
He fell asleep
totally
drunk in the car.
Useless. Yeah.
How is he still like around? I don't.
Well, he ran to Brazil.
Oh, okay.
That's where he's getting beaten by that Latina, that little tiny Latina that he bought tits for.
He bought a girl a boob job?
Yeah.
Jesus. All right.
Somebody else is gonna be squeezing them shits.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody else is gonna be squeezing them.
I ain't got nothing against fake boobs. It's just like I'm not buying it.
I do. They're not for me. But that's to each their own, I will say.
You're just a purist, Rifle. That's your problem.
Well, I don't like fake things.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a reflection of the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus the worst.
The
worst ones. The worst boob jobs are the ones where it's blatantly obvious. Their tits are fake. Like they look like freaking, like just solid, spheres.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is like those are older breast implants. Those were like a lot older type breast implants. The ones they have now are a lot more lifelike.
Yeah, they're a lot more natural.
They're a lot more natural, and they've also developed other surgical approaches,
right,
for breast implants. Like there's one where they go through the latissimus dorsi,
right,
and they do a channeling thing right there. But there's like on the tits themselves, there's no scarring or anything like that, and there's very little scarring on on the back too. So but
Yeah.
that is a very, very expensive procedure compared to the normal one.
Yeah, I went to an Asian brothel, and the chick, like, I squeezed them, and I was like, oh, they're real. But then I actually gave it, like 100% squeeze, and there's some implant, towards the back. And I was like, oh, they're not real.
Yeah.
But initially, I thought that they were real. So I think that's exactly what, that's pretty much what, what you're talking about, because like the implant is towards the back of the tit, so the front still maintains, its naturalness, even when you squeeze them, even when you feel them, it's like, the front of the tit, is, still pretty natural.
Because basically what they do, they go in there and they create a pocket between the muscle tissue. And
yeah, the front of the tit's still natural, bro. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it will be. And they do a tunneling, and they basically create a pocket within the muscle tissue and stuff like that, and they just slide it right in there. So it's probably more than y'all wanted to know, but I decided to share anyway.
Rifle, are you okay with hair dye?
Hair dye?
Yeah, does that make you?
I am.
Yes. I mean,
that big?
it's tolerable. It depends on if they're like coloring their hair weirdo colors. Like
I like auburn. I like a good auburn.
Shit, but
or
natural colors. And also, like if it suits the person. So sometimes a person might have like brown hair, but for whatever reason they look better as a blonde, or even vice versa. If it works for them, if it's a natural hair color and it works for them, it's not, a big deal.
neon colors are a no-go.
But like the weirdo blue, green, fucking shit, pink, with all the fucking freak piercings, no, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's another tidbit too is if a girl radically changes her hair color, I don't mean just like go from blonde to brunette or anything like it, but if she changes, like she goes to like a green or like some weird color, like just out of the blue, like there's something going on with her. There's like some
probably a hoe.
No, well, yeah, I mean, but there's also probably like she's going through some emotional crap or something like that. Or they'll get like a new tattoo or something like that. It's that kind of behavior you got to watch out for. Like a lot of times, girls, for example, they'll change their hair color if they've had a breakup or something like that.
Yeah, I think Apoc and I have talked about this. We ought to do a show about that because that was a really good conversation. Me and Apoc have a lot of really good conversations that probably should be streamed just because people would really enjoy them.
Oh yeah.
But we were talking about why women do the uglification, what I call uglification. Probably we'll save that for an actual show.
That would be a very that'd be a good informative show.
Yeah, because his take on it was actually I had never heard that before, and it was really, really interesting. So I think we'll do another show maybe next week or something if he's up for it. If you guys want to join, you're welcome to as well, since this has been really good. But
well, that's 1 week from now.
Yeah, maybe sometime next week, whether it's the weekend or weekday. I mean, this is kind of rough on me because it's almost midnight and I got to work in the morning. So I was getting ready to close the show down, but we were just having such a good conversation. I should have closed it earlier, but I didn't. So, on that note, you guys got any parting words?
I got nothing. Just be careful who you and just research people.
Yeah.
Trust but verify.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
The irony.
Stop simping.
I love that.
Trust but verify. There you go.
Yep.
Is that it? Yeah, that was good, Apoc. I love that.
That's old staff sergeant wisdom right there.
Well,
Stop the simping.
There's a lot more irony to what he said.
Oh, okay.
than you realize. But all right, guys, thank you all for being here on the panel.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you, guests, for
All
hanging
right,
out.
bro.
We got off topic, but we will catch you guys next time. Peace.